waves you make for us. No more gold light for your queen earth to keep you warm in your death bed. High on the waves you make for us, but not since you left have waves come. No more gold light for your queen earth to keep you warm in your death bed. High on the waves you make for us, but not since you left have waves come here. High on the waves you make for us, but not since you left have waves come. Ooh, high on the waves you make for us. Welcome to another episode of the apocalypse, and since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guy. Your humble guy, Niklas. It appears America is over. It appears a megalomaniacal oligarch enjoys running around with chainsaws waving around on stage in front of people in celebration of mass firings, taking food out of people's mouths. Oh, Leon, if you wonder why you're going in the lake, just remember what I just said. You are taking food out of people's mouths when you are worth more money than God. Your place in the lake is so bloody assured. I promise you. Read about it, Leon, if you haven't already. It's called the Lake of Fire. It's in a story called the Bible. specifically in the Revelation section. And you're one of the stars, Leon. Let us begin. Wherever I'm at here. Okay, earthquakes. It's something I neglected to mention within the story. See, there are several sections in the good book where you can find parts of the story told in different ways. For instance, in several of the Gospels, when they ask Jesus Christ, what's going to happen at the end of the world? What happens at the end of all this? Well, Jesus told them, this temple won't be here anymore. There won't be one stone of it left. Can you imagine? What? The temple? Can you imagine back in his day, a couple thousand years ago? There's going to be earthquakes in diverse places. Am I saying that is this? No, I'm saying keep an eye on it. This is one of the indicators out of Christ's own mouth. But Revelation is also out of Christ's own mouth. That's how it's presented. So I saw an earthquake headline. And what I didn't know is there was an earthquake on Friday where 1,700 people have died so far. But let's start with this one. Magnitude 7.0. Right off the coast of Tonga at 8:18 a.m. today. 7.0. That's pretty significant, wouldn't you say? And we haven't really had any quakes for a while, like any significant ones. I had a feeling they would start back up again, though, because of the story. So that led me to check, okay, well, how many quakes have there been recently? Well, there's been a fuck ton of them. Do I know if these numbers are higher than normal? No, I didn't do that kind of research. I'm not ready to do that yet. When I start seeing more and more earthquakes, which we'll probably see, unfortunately, just to prove further that we're in what we're in, as we see more, if we do see more, then I'll probably look further into it and compare numbers. But then you have to ask yourself, well, has the detection equipment gotten better and more dispersed? Therefore, you're recording more quakes. Who knows? But this list is 3 pages long. It's from the past 7 days. And before I say anything, on Friday, there was an earthquake near Myanmar, which I didn't know got taken over and is now a military dictatorship from 2021 till now. I didn't know it was so recently dictatorized. Well, now I know. Well, they had a 7-point-something earthquake on Friday, and 1,700 people are dead so far. They're a very isolationist country, and they put the isolationism aside and asked for outside help. They really don't want it, though, but they obviously have no choice. 1,700 people dead so far on Friday's earthquake. Now we have this one off the coast of Tonga. The list of recent earthquakes for the past 7 days is 3 fucking pages long. Most of the earthquakes, they only record 4.0 or above. So most of the earthquakes are 4-pointers and 5-pointers. There's a few 6-point-something, 6.7s, 6.8s. There's a 7 here right off of Tonga. 4.8, 6.1, 7.0. Tonga again is listed. Most are 5s, 4s, 6.7, 4.3. Let me see if I can find a higher number here. 6.6, Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That was Friday the 28th, excuse me. And I think I saw one for New Zealand earlier when I was looking at this. Indonesia, 6.1 Tonga, 7.0 Tonga again. These days, these quakes have been going on for a little bit. 5.4 near Chile. 6.7 New Zealand. That was Tuesday the 25th, 2025. I'm surprised we don't hear more about these things. 6.7, that sounds pretty serious. 5.0 by China. I noticed the overwhelming majority of the earthquakes in the last 7 days, which again, 158 earthquakes found in the past 7 days. The majority were off the coast of Asia, or you could look at it as off the coast of the Pacific United States. Some are dead in the middle between the two land masses. Most are a little bit closer to Asia. You're seeing a lot of like Indonesia, Myanmar, basically Asian islands and stuff like that. That's mostly where the earthquakes are. And if you look at the map, they kind of have them pinned. And most of the pins are over here by Asia, Australia, a lot less dispersed everywhere else. So I'm wondering if some really massive quake is going to hit that Pacific area off the coast of Australia, Asia, those islands in between. Looks like that's where most of the activity is. And by the amount of activity, I'm a little worried. Hopefully these ones that just happened were the biggest that are going to happen for a long time. I don't know. But the amount of pins here, I'm a little worried about that area of the world. So keep an eye on the earthquakes. Again, Myanmar and now off the coast of Tonga were the two big ones. Myanmar was worse. 1,700 deaths so far. You should just keep an eye on it, again, because all the alert systems for our country have basically been dismantled. Because they don't want bad stuff, ruining Donnie's groove, like tornadoes or whatever. So let's just not report on it. Let's just dismantle all the agencies. We're going full fascist anyway, people. You don't see what's going on. I mean, it's so bloody fucking obvious. Trump says he's considering ways to serve a third term as president. Well, we heard this, thing even during his first term. They talked about third and fourth terms and Trump president forever. They're just joking. That's just trolls. They're not serious. He loses the election. He tries to overthrow the government. So if you're going to sit here again like a fool and say this man is joking or he's just trolling the libs or whatever, the motherfucker tried to overthrow the government via riot last time he lost. What the fuck makes you think he's leaving this time? He's never voluntarily leaving. It's never going to happen. You saw what he did last time, right? Just like you farmers saw the tariffs that ruined your farms, cost you your trading partners. Some of you committed suicide. You saw that. You said, let me try it one more time. We're doing the same thing. I see so many comments out there where people are not fucking taking this seriously. He tried to overthrow the government last time. What do you think he's going to do this time? So Trump's considering a third term. Let's really look at this. Trump said Sunday that I'm not joking. For everyone that's going to say he's joking, because that's what you've all said prior to this. Almost everyone says this. So Trump now himself is letting everyone know, no, I'm not joking. Do you notice how they tell you what they're going to do before they do it every single time? That riot on J6, that was planned way in advance. They told us Donnie kept putting the advertisements out on social media. Come on down. It'll be wild, remember? In other words, every single thing they're doing, they're telling you in advance, and you're still going along. What the fuck is wrong with you? He's telling you right now, I ain't leaving, just like last time I didn't leave. I had to be thrown out. He's telling you, I'm not leaving. And he's saying, I'm not joking. Because he knows last time we all said, oh, he's joking. He's just talking shit. He's trolling the libs. No, he tried to overthrow the government, son. Here he is again, back in power. We gave the bank robber the keys to the vault. And now he's saying he's not joking. But I already knew this. You know why? Because I remember last term when he literally tried to overthrow the government. So I know for certain he's never leaving unless he's forced to, or dies, or becomes a just total vegetable. That's the only way. Donnie thinks he's Caesar. So does Leon, by the way. But this is about Donnie right now. So he's not joking. That's a quote. I'm not joking about trying to serve a third term. The I'm not joking part is a quote. About trying to serve a third term. The clearest indication he is considering ways to breach a constitutional barrier against continuing to lead the country after a second term ends in early 2029. There are methods which you could do it, he says. That's a quote. Trump said in a telephone interview with NBC. He also said it's far too early to think about that. Well, then why are you thinking about it? Why are you saying all this? Sounds like you put a lot of thought into it, actually, Donnie. And then it goes into the 22nd Amendment. I am not going to read you people that quote laws, amendments. None of that matters anymore. These people will go full fascist. It's obvious by their laissez-faire attitude towards the job and the dismantling of everything. They go in full fascist. No, none of these laws, statutes, whatever, fucking matter. Don't even bother reading them. You got Nazis in charge. They don't give a fuck about laws. And one day we're probably going to wake up and every liberal in government will be arrested. And Hegseth would be happy to do it. And so would cross-eyed ass Kash Patel. They happy to do it. Adolf Hitler's the playbook. They're following it word for word. That's what Adolf did. He didn't care about laws. He just woke up one morning. I'm going to arrest all the trade unionists, liberals, socialists, communists, because they're the only people standing in my way to do what I really want to do. What do you think these people are thinking? They're going to unveil that on you one day. Watch. You're going to be stunned. I didn't think it could happen here. Oh, you haven't been seeing it happen here for 10 years? So let's not bother with the 22nd Amendment. It's just not even fucking important. As if laws or anything matters. Court decisions, nothing matters to these fucking freaks. NBC's Kristen Welker asked Trump if one potential avenue to a third term was having Vice President J.D. Vance run for the top job and then pass the baton to you. Donnie says, well, that's one, Trump responded, but there are others too. There are others. So Donnie and his people have been discussing this. And we know this because they discussed overthrowing the government last time. And there was all kind of funding from like Publix heiresses and Alex Jones, and people paid for buses and for the wood to build the gallows. Well-financed machine that day. And then you had the foxes in the hen house who just had the guards stand down for a while and let the cops get their ass beat. So Trump says, oh, yeah, that's one we've discussed. And, we've discussed others, too. He didn't use the word discussed, but I know a Donnie shitbag's answer. Always know what it really means. Oh, you guessed one of them. That's why he said, well, that's one. Oh, you guessed one of our options that we discussed. Good one. But there's others, too. I just can't tell you right now. Can you tell me another? Welker asked. No, Trump replied. Vance's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Trump would be 82 at the end of his term. When he was asked whether he would want to keep serving in the toughest job in the country at that point. So you know what Donnie's plan is? He's not leaving. You saw it last time. I shouldn't even have to fucking tell you this. Did he leave last time? No. Is he going to leave this time? No, he's talking about a third term and we're 2 months in. This guy's always thinking of the scam, the grift, the evil. It was the same before. He knew he was going to lose the election months in advance. And they were planning that J6 thing months in advance. Donnie's way early on the scam. Remember what he said in the beginning of this thing. And I know why he says it. I totally know the psychology of this fucking freak. He answers the question. There are methods which you could do it, Trump said in a telephone interview. Staying for a third term, he means. And then he says, oh, wait, I've gone a little over the line with that statement. Let me rein it back in. It is far too early to think about that. That's Donnie's thought process there. Why are you thinking about it? You sound like you have it all worked out already. What do you mean, far too early? No, Donnie was thinking about that on day one. And if you don't believe that, then you don't know Donnie. He was thinking, how can I stay in office past the 4 years on day one? And he's saying he's not joking about it. What does that mean? That he's going to be here for a third term. Okay, class? This is why America is over or gone. The guy paid $400,000 a month by Russia to push Kremlin propaganda now has White House access. America is gone. Yes, a literal paid shill for Russia, namely Tim Pool and his people, now have White House access. And I know Timmy at least got 100,000, was it 100,000 a week or something like that? I know he really thought he was worth that. Influencer paid by Russia added to White House press pool. That's why America's gone. That's just one reason of many. Another reason is the people that voted for him don't care about the Constitution, themselves, their children, morals, decency, anything. They just gave all the most precious things, they just handed the fuck over as if they were worthless to an orange con man who they didn't know is the Anticristo. Little secret. Here's Leon on the Tesla attacks, in quotes, because I'm not seeing many suspects caught here. It is time to arrest those funding the attacks. Arresting their puppets and paid foot soldiers won't stop the violence. And the poster that posted this, here's Elon's comment if you'd like to look at it. Beautiful. It's time to arrest the Nazi illegally dismantling our government. That's a way to go. Instead of, feigning victimhood and trying to make it a thing where anyone that criticizes him, Tesla, or has a demonstration near one of his dealerships, well, we can arrest those people. That's where he's going with this. You know that, right? And having it labeled as terrorism, right? Because he's a rich guy that owns a car company and he happened to buy an office in government and by the president. So whatever we do or anyone does to him, it's automatically terrorism now. That's where he's going with this. And I don't believe anyone's funding any attacks. I just believe Leon's a hated man for a million different reasons. And I'm not, the paid foot soldiers, I'm not buying that either. Leon has more paid foot soldiers than anyone on earth. Namely the whole Doge thing and many other people in many other places. Plenty of bots too. Over 70% of his followers are bots. So yes, it's time to arrest those funding the attack. So he wants to go after some big names. And what the question I asked when I saw this, Who is Leon going to defame and blame for this? That's rich. George Soros, whatever, and make an example out of some rich person by arresting them. Since this is a Nazi Reich, literally. I wonder which one. I expect the Clintons' names to come up. I expect Soros, people like that. None of it's true. They're not responsible for any of it. Leon's just a hated man. Again, remember who Leon is. He's the Nazi salute guy. When you throw that salute up, you're saying you believe all the other races are inferior. You're an Aryan. You believe that the Aryan race is superior and all other races can be exterminated. You believe the weak and vulnerable, only the strong survive, or might makes right, all that kind of shit. Everybody else is garbage, which we can just exterminate. All the money goes to the Reich. Everybody else fights for the fucking scraps. And we use the peasants to work in camps for the Reich. And you get executed if you're a problem, or you can't work anymore, or you fall out in a month from starvation. Did you know that's usually how long men lasted in those camps? I've been keeping track for years. Auschwitz Memorial account that posts all the different people's names and faces that were taken there, whether they made it out or not. Most of the males' names that I saw, they lasted about a month. Why? Because that's about how much you can last with no food. That's why. Jeffrey Goldberg, Big Jeff Goldberg, calls out Mike Waltz on NBC over Signalgate. Hold on, let me go back to this for a moment. Remember who Leon Scum is. The Nazi salute guy. The guy who gets up on stages with a chainsaw and half-ass thug outfits, waving it around in celebration of firing thousands of people, taking food, again, out of people's mouths when you have so much excess, son. How do you justify that? You'll never be able to. Celebrating mass firings. Those firings represent human beings with families. Cunt! And you wonder why you're hated. You throw up the Nazi salute and you wonder why you're hated. Again, Nazism, eugenics, white supremacy, death camps, blitzkriegs in war and annexation, all great stuff. Leon's partly the author of this let's annex Canada, let's annex other countries bullshit. Where do you think it fucking came from? Straight from the Hitler playbook. Because these people ain't too bright. They just evil. And they use an Adolf's playbook to a T. So always remember who Leon is. And he's also the guy that sets up Fox News interviews and says things like, you know, it's always the loudest people that are the frauds, that have the righteous indignation, blah, blah, fucking blah. And Brett Baer's like, yeah, nah, people are really just worried about the 94-year-old that won't get their check, cunt. That's really what's going on here. Even Brett was sickened. Fox News host, for fuck's sake, sickened by him and had to put him in his place for a minute. So Leon, when you take food out of people's mouths, when you have 300 billion and you always got your hand out for more from the American taxpayer, people are going to hate you. When you're talking about annexing other countries, people are going to hate you. But you knew all this, and you know you're going full fascist anyway, so why give a shit? So never forget who this cunt is, as he's playing the fucking victim and says people should be arrested for vandalizing a fucking Tesla. Let's go to Big Jeff Goldberg. I'm loving this guy more and more. Talking all kind of shit. I love it, and he's good at it. Big Jeff Goldberg calls out Mike Waltz on NBC over Signalgate. This isn't the Matrix. phone numbers don't just get sucked into other phones. I don't know what he's talking about there. I want to stop for a second. Yes, you rubes are so fucking gullible that what Mike Waltz said passes for an answer in your world. Oh, okay. The phone number just got sucked in. Oh, okay. Nah, Mike isn't a snitch. Mike's a snitch. You know that. Mike's a leaker. That's why he had this guy's number. But you accept an answer like that and you just go about your day and keep watching. When that answer is ridiculous, no one's phone number gets sucked into a Signal chat, son, or sucked into someone's phone and accidentally added to a Signal chat. But I'm loving Big Jeff Goldberg. I love this guy. This isn't the Matrix. Phone numbers don't just get sucked into other phones. I don't know what he's talking about there. You know, very frequently in journalism, the most obvious explanation is the explanation. I love this guy. My phone number was in his phone because my phone number is in his phone. Jeff Goldberg for president, motherfucker. He's already got classified info. He's got clearances. For fuck's sake. He knows when we're going to strike Yemen before we fucking do. Thanks to incompetent ass, drunk ass Pete Hegseth and incompetent ass Mike Waltz. Oh my God. And Mike is a snitch. You rubes realize that, right? You MAGA people? You realize Mike's a snitch. And he's leaking for money. You know that. His whole Venmo was full of journalists. Why do you think that is? And Venmo just happens to be a cash app. Journalists, cash, Mike Waltz phone. You get how that works? So yeah, I love what I love about Jeff Goldberg is he flat out just says that's not true, and he says it at the end. That's simply not true. He does that every time they fucking lie about this. He just flat out says it. He doesn't mince words. He doesn't cower. He isn't being careful. He just talking shit. I love this guy. I fucking love him. And this is a bit optimistic, this here. With Elon's upcoming departure, it seems Doge is a bust. Last month's government spending was up $60 billion from February last year. Seems the only fraud and waste was his $8 million per diem. See ya. Yeah, and it costs $8 million a week for Doge, by the way, to pay all those salaries and cunts that are betraying their own country, betraying us, and dismantling and looting the place. And all those cunts, by the way, half of them college dropouts, some of them straight out of high school. They have all your information. Did you know that? Everything about you, your family, your income, everything they have already. They had it weeks ago. That's old news. So always keep that in mind. So what is this person talking about? I'm almost done. Leon scum to quit Doge and leave Washington, D.C. after $1 trillion in U.S. government cuts. Yeah, but will it save us any money? I'm thinking it won't save us any money. Firing $1 trillion worth of people and aid, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking it won't save jack shit. In fact, Leon's people cost $8 million a week. And then Leon's, whatever he's grifting, contracts, whatever he's getting out the till. So I don't think anything's been saved. And Donnie's spent more money than Biden did at this point in the presidency. So it almost appears that it was never about saving money. It was about dismantling and looting the place. And now Leon's going to pretend for the third time that he's just going to walk away from something and let someone else run it. After Leon paid $230 million for an office in the White House? You think he's just going to walk away, son? After he said, I'm going to be unofficial president, when he's talking to Netanyahu last year, or excuse me, let me be accurate. Netanyahu said, well, you can't be president. And Leon said, well, not officially. You think that person that said that in front of a group of people in 2024, that I can be president, just not officially, said that out loud, son. You think that person is just walking away? Remember what he did with Twitter? Everyone hated his guts in about 5 minutes. So then he puts a poll up. Should I step down as CEO of Twitter? Well, everybody jumped on that and said, hell yeah. And even though Leon has about, I don't know, 1 billion bots on that website that he controls, he still couldn't win the poll. He still lost. He said he would step down when he lost the poll. What he hired Linda Yaccarino, whatever the fuck her name is. Yet he's still running Twitter. Linda ain't running jack shit. So you can't just give someone a title and pretend you're stepping down and walk away and have people believe it. Because when people have questions about Twitter, they go to him. They don't go to fucking Linda. They care less about her. Doge, what was the other thing? Oh, Doge, yes, Doge. Leon was in charge of Doge for a minute till people started talking prison sentences. Then what does he do? He gets a memo from the White House and puts that out publicly. That's, oh, what do you mean Leon's running Doge? Leon doesn't run Doge. That's this Amy Gleason person that no one's ever heard of and no one's seen. Turns out, though, when there's an interview to do on Fox News with the Doge team to present them as good, caring, well-adjusted people and not sociopaths that are part of a Nazi movement, who's sitting there with them? Is Amy Gleason there? Nope. Fat-ass Leon Scum is there. Sitting there right in front of Doge. So who runs Doge, class? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Leon does. Now Leon has a government position as well as Doge. So he doesn't run Doge, Amy does, but he still has a government position. Well, now he's going to give that up. Now he's going to step down from that. That's what he's saying here. Well, you saw what he did at Twitter when he said he would step down. You saw what he did with Doge because he's about to go to prison, so he stepped down. What do you think he's going to do here, son? Class? I wonder what he's going to do. He said he would step down from Twitter and didn't. He said he wasn't running Doge, but he is. And now he says he's leaving the government. He's going off into the sunset. I wonder what he's going to do. Nothing. He's still going to be running all of it. You think he paid $230 million for nothing, son? Leon ain't going nowhere. We ain't getting that lucky. I fucking wish we were. But I've seen this song and dance twice now with this cunt. Oh, I'll step down from Twitter. I'll hire Linda. Yet he's still running everything. I'm not running Doge. What, prison sentence? I'm not running Doge. That's this Amy person. All of a sudden. Yet on Fox News, Amy ain't sitting there in front of Doge. This fat fuck is sitting there in front of Doge, trying to humanize these people and himself. Mr. Chainsaw, celebrating the mass firings and taking food out of poorer people's mouths than him. Much poorer. And laughing about it, joking about it, calling them frauds and parasites. And if they complain, saying they're frauds, that's who this cunt is. Don't ever forget that. He'd take your grandmammy's Social Security check and put it in his pocket, and he'd smile and go home and have a nice hot meal. Wouldn't bother him one motherfucking bit. And he proves it daily. So I'm sorry, I'm not buying the bridge you selling for $1. This bullshit that Leon just going to step down, walk away from the Nazi movement that he's been dreaming of his whole life, that he paid $230 million for, and just go off into the sunset. This is also, in my opinion, a huge stock manipulation. Tesla stock is garbage. It should be at $20 a share. It's at, I don't know, 280 or something probably. So what's going to happen as a result of this bullshit fake announcement that has no basis in reality? Tesla stock's going to go way up. Dow Jones going to go way up. Tesla, all of a sudden you're going to see articles. Tesla is now excited. The board is now excited that Leon's actually going to pay attention to his own company. You're going to see shit like that. And that's good. That's the excuse they're going to give for the rise in the Dow and the rise in Tesla stock. So here again, we have another stock manipulation. Utterly and totally. Why do you think it was announced on Sunday evening? Because Monday, the market opens back up. And I just have a feeling we're going to see a headline. Dow jumps up 400 points. Maybe 800, who knows? And Leon and all his cunt buddies get rich off that shit. An 800-point swing in the Dow, a 100-point swing in Tesla, whatever. Rich off that one action, that one event. Over and over again, we keep seeing this. I literally said when Donnie announced the tariffs, watch in a couple days, we'll change his mind. Well, no, they did this instead. Oh, Leon's going to be out of government? Well, the markets are going to correct themselves and go back up. And, everything's going to get better. Leon's going to actually pay attention to Tesla now. No, none of that's going to happen. Absolutely none of it. The markets will have their little dip up. Donnie will announce something in a week and make it all tank again. And then he'll announce something 2 days later and bring it back up. And we're going to do this over and over and over until they crash it and put us all on Donnie coin. That's what's going to happen. So I really wonder if what Leon's doing here on announcing it on a Sunday when the market opens Monday, after a horrible week last week, Dow down 700, Tesla down. It gained a little bit back from Russian and Saudi money and shit like that, propping it up. But now it's really going to go up because I can already see the headlines. I can already see the people on the different news shows, interviews. Well, we're really excited. Leon's going to be able to pay more attention to Tesla now, blah, blah. No, he's not. This is the Reich he's always dreamed of, son. He ain't giving up jack shit. I don't buy that headline for a fucking second that he's going to step down from anything. I've seen this stance twice already with Twitter and Doge, yet he's still running both. So what do you think's going to, are you seeing a pattern, I guess is what I'm saying. Do you see the pattern that's developing? Here's more Leon. Sure is insanely ironic that the people shooting bullets into Tesla stores, I didn't hear about anyone shooting a bullet into a Tesla store. Maybe that story's out there. I didn't hear about it. Burning down cars and generally being violent are calling me a Nazi when I've done literally zero violence at all. That's not true. Taking food out of people's mouths is violence, in my opinion. Firing them, having them worried every night how they're going to survive because of you, the rich, fat scumbag who was born rich and took more welfare than anyone in the history of mankind. And the violence they're going to do in the future. Again, I'm telling you, these two people will kill more people than Adolf Hitler. I'm telling you that. You think the annexation talk is for nothing, son? You think the bombing of Somalia and Yemen for nothing? You think all this alignment with Putin is for nothing? You think ending vaccine programs, food aid programs, all that's for nothing? Dismantling Social Security and other safety nets for nothing? You think Donnie and Leon are going to Fort Knox for nothing? Or maybe they already went and emptied it out. I don't know. So no one's shooting bullets in the Tesla stores that I know of. Some cars have been burned. And he's talking about generally being violent and calling him a Nazi. Well, again, he's the Nazi salute guy. You can't get up in front of the whole world, Leon, and do a Nazi salute. And then just everyone's going to forget about it and not call you a Nazi. Do you see how that works? When you do the Nazi hello, you become a Nazi. whether you believe in it or not. And you know, the Nazi haircuts you always have that I literally always knew you were getting, by the way, because I know what a Nazi haircut looks like. Literally based on what Hitler and the boys used to get back in the Reich, your haircuts. You think you're fooling anybody with that shit? You're from Nazi South Africa? You talk about having children all the time, and I know what you're really saying. You mean you want white people to have children. That's what you're worried about. Every time a Republican says not enough babies are being had, that means not enough white babies are being had. So I'm sorry, Leon, when you embody the Nazi ideology and when concentration camps are being opened up and you're talking about illegal immigrants, when you're an illegal immigrant, when all the brown skins and Indians and all those people, you're deporting them, but you'd extend an open invitation to the Nazi whites in South Africa. And I'm not saying all of you are Nazis, but let's be honest, South Africa was built on a Nazi culture. Let's just be honest about it. The white part. So I'm sorry, Leon, you're calling for all kind of violence. Do you think we don't know that you're part of these annexation plans? Do you think people aren't going to die because of that? All these people you're firing, you don't think some people are going to die because of that? You know they will. That's the point of it. Because again, son, when you put the Nazi salute up, that means you believe in eugenics. That's literally what it means. One aspect of Nazism. So that means you're all in favor of people dying once you throw that salute up. Indisputable, son. Inarguable. You did it and we all know it. And you can't 1984 it away, son. I know you're going to try. But there's another record being kept. There's another book, Leon. And you can't just edit that out or send a bunch of bots to talk shit on it. It just is, Leon. Your name's not in there, Leon. It's gone. If it was ever in there, I don't know. You know what that means. And you can't 1984 it away. You can't bodyguard it away. You can't have your child on your shoulders to shield you from it. You can't buy your way out of it. So have your fun now, son. Because the show coming to an end after you take your last breath. I've done literally zero violence at all. Yeah, sure, Leon. That's the chainsaw guy again. Who's done no violence. Department of Government Efficiency, again, I was just talking about this. Look who's sitting at the head of it. I don't see Amy Gleason there. Do you? Unless she transitioned or something. I don't see her there. I see the Doge team, the ones that Leon isn't embarrassed to sit next to. In public. And who's dead in the middle there? Who's that fat, pasty bastard? That don't look like Amy Gleason to me. Does that look like Amy to you? So I guess Leon really does run Doge, huh? Because he's speaking for it. I don't see Amy speaking for it here. I thought she was the CEO, head of it, whatever. She was running it. What happened? And what I find fascinating is Leon threw big balls and all the little children's under the bus when he put that memo out that, yeah, I don't run Doge. What are you talking about? Big balls just got hired by the government. I didn't hire him. That's what they want you to believe. That Leon didn't pick these fucking social outcast fucking freaks, out of his ass. We know you did. These people aren't normal. And the young ones, they all think they're going to be the next startup, bro. Meanwhile, they're dismantling, the only nation, the nation that makes the most money. They're dismantling it and destroying it. And they're part of a Nazi movement, whether they realize that or not. And I have a feeling they serve other functions for Leon as well, these young boys. Just a thought. Now, here's the old government, Department of Government Efficiency. You might recognize some of them. That guy in the middle there with the funny mustache. The guy with the glasses, he looks familiar too. And a lot of the Nazis, I noticed the haircuts, they like to shave it low, right above the ear. Leon gets those haircuts too. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, this is Hitler and the boys back in the day, and that's the old Department of Government Efficiency. Now we have the new one. And again, I don't see Amy Gleason there. I see fat-ass Leon there. I thought he wasn't running Doge, so why is he sitting there? Here's Leon again, lying his fucking ass off. First of all, there are no cuts to Medicaid, Social Security, or other entitlements unless stopping fraud is considered a cut. What fraud are they stopping? They haven't proved one case of fraud. It's a complete fabrication. And when you take Medicaid, take money or staff away from it, you are cutting it. When you take staff away from Social Security and you shut down buildings and locations and make people wait 4 hours on the phone to talk to somebody, you are cutting Social Security, and they damn well know it. Again, I just showed you a video where I showed you a picture of Rep. Don Mayer, I think was his name. He called up Social Security on one of the least busy days, Wednesday, and they told him, you're going to have to wait 2 hours or call back later, and then the phone hung up. When you do that, you're making cuts to Social Security, and all you cunts know it. That means less people are going to get it when it takes you a year to do all, the whole process. That's intentional. Because Leon believes in eugenics. That's why he threw the Nazi salute up, son. You old people, you're just a drain. You're parasites. That's what he's saying here. Calls them entitlements. Social Security. I don't know. I thought all you guys paid into that your whole life. And so did your employer. Don't sound like an entitlement to me. It sounds like money you've earned. Just a thought. But then according to the, obese richest man in the world, that's just an entitlement. That's how he views it. And, he takes more welfare than all the Social Security that all of us will ever get. So, yes, he is cutting Medicaid. Yes, he is cutting Social Security. Yes, he is cutting other entitlements. He's not stopping any fraud. That's just a cover. That's bullshit. That's the cover to do everything. Just like immigration is the cover to grab people off the street when they come to grab me or you. That'll be under that immigration blanket that they were able to throw over you because they started off with the brown-skinned Latin immigrant, and that didn't bother you. Don't worry, they'll get around to you too, I promise. All fascist movements do. No one's safe, ever. Even the staunchest sycophant. So let's continue. Second, organizing a campaign to call for the death of someone is illegal. The organizers and funders will be found and prosecuted. No, they won't. And there were no funders. And lots of protests have things like that. Hey, the J6ers that Leon loves and Donnie loves, they built a gallows for the vice president and congressman. What about the funders of that? Did we arrest any of those funders, like the Publix heiress and people like that? No, we didn't arrest any of those people. But we want to arrest people for Leon. So let me get this straight. Gallows on the White House or the Capitol lawn, cool. Doing a mock whatever funeral thing at a demonstration, not cool. That's where we're at in this country. Yes, that is literally where we're at. So no one's organizing a campaign to about killing him, and no one's funding anything. These are just people that hate you, man. I've never seen a human being in the history of mankind get the whole world to despise them as quickly as you, Leon. That's a real accomplishment. But you are the false prophet, so. Although when you do read the story kind of gives you the impression that more of the world worships these people than actually does. The story does. There aren't numbers there. It's just the way the story is. It kind of almost presents it as like just almost the entire world loves these, especially the beast, who is, some people think, is the Messiah. But really, what are they? They're people that are utterly despised, like Hitler. No one really liked Hitler. He was just in charge. And he would kill you if you did anything wrong. It's the same with these people. No one likes Donnie. No one likes Leon. They're just in charge. They have the money. They have the thuggery. They have the thugs behind them. Putin. Donnie's been, kind of a mobster his whole fucking life. Money laundering, etc. He talks like a mobster, acts like a mobster, threatens people like a mobster, tried to overthrow the government, took home 3,000 classified documents, and acted like, hey, they mine. The FBI called, tell him to fuck off. That's Donnie. So again, they keep wanting to play the victim, and Leon keeps wanting to play the victim. He's the chainsaw guy, remember. He's the Nazi salute guy. He's the one trying to steal Social Security checks from Grandma, him and Nutlick. I heard Nutlick isn't allowed to be on TV right now because Nutlick ran his mouth too much talking about Grandma. If Grandma don't get her check, fuck her. You can't say that. And every rube and geriatric in this fucking country should have been out in the streets. Nutlick talking about, I'm not getting my check? Really? And I shouldn't complain? And if I do complain, I'm a fucking fraud? Did Nutlick really say that? Should have been riots in the fucking street. No, all you geriatrics, you're going to vote for it, and then when the shit hits the fan and you don't get your check, you're going to lose your fucking mind. That's what's going to happen. And Leon and Nutlick and Stephen Miller and Donnie, they're the ones that want to steal your money. And be ye rube or non-rube, doesn't matter. They still want your money. And they're going to get your money too, son. Don't worry. They're going to get everything. They're going to get Gaza. They'll probably get fucking Canada, Greenland, all that shit. Panama. I know it'll be beautiful, right? The Reich will be beautiful. You're going to love it, right? No, the Reich going to come for you too. It always does. That's how history works, son. They literally are paid protesters. This is another Leon post. Again, the guy with 70% fake followers is talking about paid protesters. The guy that went to Wisconsin just a few hours ago and bribed people to vote the way he wants them to vote. And if you think I don't have evidence on that, I actually do have evidence on that. So they literally are paid protesters, in quotes. Leon provides no evidence, just assumes, even though he's like pretty much the most hated man on the planet right now. Easily. He just assumes these people are all paid to be there. No, Leon, you don't got to pay people to be there when you steal a Social Security check. I don't know. Again, I'm hearing a lot of country folk with Southern accents and shit in these Republican town halls, and all I hear is booing and yelling. That's how mad they are. Leon. Especially when your name comes up. You got veterans being kicked out of town hall, kind of shit over Leon. Why do you think the fake announcement today, besides the stock manipulation, because Tesla's about to go bankrupt, besides the stock manipulation, why else do you think the announcement? Because the animosity's off the charts. And I told you it would get there, and I told you they'd have no choice but to go full fascist and clamp down. And believe me, they will. And Leon's not going away. I hate to break it to you. In 2 months. With Leon, it's always in 2 months, 2 years, a year, 3 years. We'll have people in Mars by 2022, whatever. All lies, all day, all the time. Again, he's the Nazi salute guy. Don't ever trust him. Don't ever believe a fucking thing he says. Don't dare do it. And don't dare try and give him the benefit of the doubt. All these things that he's doing right now have been calculated out and planned for years with this motherfucker. I'm shocked at the violence from the left, says this guy, who waves a chainsaw around on stage in celebration of firing thousands of human beings as he steals more money from the government via contracts, in quotes, worth about, I believe, 43 billion so far in the first month. That's what Leon got in the first month via the welfare program for billionaires. How much did you get this month from the government? Did you get a check? Did you get $1 million contract? Anyway, back to this again. They literally are paid protesters. Leon literally went to Wisconsin tonight and handed out $2 million checks. Allegedly, someone actually got that money. I'm not believing he gave out any money until I see a bank statement from those two individuals proving there's $1 million in their account. I'm not believing it till I see it, because everything's PR and fucking lies with this guy. So he's literally there bribing people to vote for a certain judge in Wisconsin, and he posted this earlier today before he went. Paid protesters as he's bribing people for votes. You can't make this up. This level of hypocrisy, this level of projection, level of evil, you can't make it up, man. So again, he's shocked by all the violence. Let's look at it again. That's who's talking when he's sitting there all calm and I don't even know what to call it. Calm and what's that word? Solemn in front of the Doge people as if he's just a good little corporate fuckface. When he's really this guy, the Nazi on fucking Special K and ecstasy, waving a fucking chainsaw around in celebration of firing thousands of people, taking food out of people's mouths. The second beast, the false prophet. That's what you're looking at. And no, he's not going away in 2 months. Again, it's always 2 months with Leon, 2 years. You know, those typical lies that guys that run startups tell to investors so they don't get their legs broken and they don't get found out and go to prison. How many startup bros have we seen this with? Leon's scrambling right now. He's scrambling. This is about the Canadian fraud that Leon most likely perpetrated. Just before it expired, that's fraud. Somehow 4 Tesla-owned dealerships reported to the Canadian government that they sold an astonishing 8,600 cars during a single weekend in January, enough to qualify for 43 million Canadian dollars worth of government subsidies under a program just before it expired. That's the operative sentence or phrase, just before it expired. Now the Canadian government wants to know exactly how the electric car maker managed to move 2 cars a minute off its lots, a rate that assumes those 4 dealers had stayed open 24 hours from January 10th to January 12th. Now, we all know they didn't sell that many cars, and it's just a scam to get the rebate money. We all know what it is. That's why the Canadian government said, yeah, we're going to hold that 43 million, Leon. Sorry. We feel there's been a little funny business. Unless you had an all-night 72-hour car sale with extra staff and you were just selling them like fucking hotcakes. And we know that didn't happen. So, Leon, we're going to hold the money. We're going to do a line-by-line investigation to root out any waste, fraud, or abuse. We're going to run with your wisdom, Leon. That's what you're doing, right? That's the noble effort that Leon is involved in day after day. He always says it. when any critique comes his way. Well, I'm only cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. No, son, you're the waste, fraud, and abuse. You. That's your existence. You're a waste of oxygen, actually. You give nothing good to this realm. That's why you're the false prophet. And that's why everyone hates you. And you're just the money in the room. That's the only reason anyone tolerates you, son. You're the money in the room. You're the guy at the party that the cool guys say, well, he's the money. Let's go get him. Let's ask him to get us some beer. He'll do it. That's who you are, son. I'm glad I'm not you. I wouldn't want to live that life. Not even for $400 billion, I wouldn't want to live that life. This is an opinion guest essay parody by Usha Vance. My husband is gay. Should I tell him? Excellent. Remember JD the couch fucker? He's very good buddies with a guy named Pete Thale, who's openly gay and part of a Nazi movement. How do you reconcile that? I don't know, because remember, they would put the pink triangle on gays when they threw them in the camp, but those were just probably the poor gays. I'm assuming the elite gays at the top of the Nazi movement, which most of them probably were, they were fine. So Thale must be in like that category, like the elite Nazi gay that we won't put in the camp because he's got a lot of money. But the rest of the gays down here, we're just going to put a pink triangle on him and throw him in the camp. But anyway, that's JD's like sponsor. That's like his main dude. And the way JD is with his wife is very awkward and weird. And JD does wear a lot of eyeliner. You know what I'm saying? So I'm guessing. It's just a guess. I don't have any evidence on this. I'm guessing JD sometimes sneaks to like over Pete's house like late at night and then comes back home. Because JD, again, talks about his own wife and child as if he doesn't know them, as if they're a separate entity. Donnie does that too. But, you know, we know Donnie's straight by all the rapes. But he could also be gay too. Again, Caesars, Rome. What was Rome like for the elite peoples? You slept with men and women. That was normal. And if you didn't do it, they probably thought you were strange. We are New Rome. We have some very effeminate and strange individuals at the top that say very weird things. So even though Donnie has probably committed a bunch of rapes in the past, that doesn't necessarily mean he isn't gay or bi or something. Again, because all the Caesars were into that shit, except for, I think, like Marcus Aurelius wrote about the dangers of indulging in that. So that's normal. And I have to admit, Leon's awfully effeminate. And I'm not hearing that he's sleeping with all these women. I'm hearing IVF. Because he wants sons. Or got a bunch of young boys, college dropouts, some straight out of high school, as his posse. I don't know what that's about. Got Thale up there. There's another openly gay cabinet member. I can't remember the name of the person. Damn it. And again, this is the family values anti-gay party. They're always preaching against gays out there. It doesn't make sense to me. But there's also something in the story. Hatred of women is in the story. And I've never seen a movement like this that really does hate women. I'm talking about Andrew Tate, the whole just club. There's this hatred of women. And again, I told you why I think that is. And that's really what it is. It's this kind of just hatred for women. It's in the story and it's worded this way. He will hate the God of women. A lot of people, again, thought that means that the Antichrist is gay. Well, a teacher told me, a teacher I respect, that that doesn't necessarily mean that. That was a new way to look at it for me. But now I'm seeing how much gay is at the top of this Nazi movement, just like the last Nazi movement. So I have a feeling that piece of scripture does mean that a lot of them are gay, and that's part of the hatred of women. Do I think all gays men hate women? No. I think these gay men hate women. These specific ones I'm talking about. Men that say things like, I don't have sex with women for pleasure. That's Andrew Tate. No straight man would ever say that. That would never even occur to a straight man to say. That I don't sleep with women for pleasure. That certainly never occurred to me to say. Ever. Yeah, you just, it's something to do. It's not that it feels good. That's Andrew Tate. And the reason I'm bringing that, he's a representation of a lot of these dudes that are in this Reich right now. I notice they all just seem to have this hatred for women, especially Andrew. Donnie, too. My God, he's a fucking menace. He just grabs women by the you-know-what. Anyway, let me move on. I digress too fucking much. I'm not going to read all this. Trump's moving military assets to Diego Garcia does two things simultaneously. Saber rattling, typical strategy of Trump, maximum pressure in negotiations. He wants a deal with Iran and believes a show of force and threat of war will help achieve that. I'm not going to read this entire thing. I just want you to know that significant military assets have been moved to a place called Diego Garcia. I don't know. They're mentioning Iran here. I haven't looked into this further. I just wanted to let you know it happened. I will look into it further, and I will learn the details and understand the plan here. But again, this is a Reich, people. Adolf wanted to take over the world. Rome wanted to take over the world. That's what Adolf based his shit on. Donnie and Leon want to take over the world. You think Leon has the Pepe Caesar for no reason on the wall? It's just a video game, right? Right. They see themselves as Caesar, and they're going to run the world. And they're going to have us all in the same currency. Those of you that accept it. I won't. And we already had the bombings to start using the Suez and the Gulf of Aden and that waterway as extortion against Europe and Egypt and other places. We're going to control Panama. They're going to go after Canada, try and do what they can there. They're going to take Greenland. All these things are going to happen. That's where this is going. Now you're hearing assets being moved to Diego Garcia. I'm sure that's part of the plan, maybe involving Israel, when they have to get military involved there. I don't know. But Iran's being mentioned. Israel is in the vicinity. So that may be, while things are being moved, their plans for Israel. They know it's going to get ugly there. They know there's going to have to be an American military presence, most likely. I have a feeling you're going to see assets move to a lot of different places for different aspects of the plan. You know what they want? They want Canada. They want Greenland. They probably want Mexico. They want Central America and Panama. They want the top portion of South America. They want Gaza. They want the Suez. Control of the Panama Canal. You know what they want. They're going to use the military to get all those things. That's where this is going. Why does everyone hate me? Says Leon with the chainsaw in celebration of firing people. Yeah, people are going to die because of what you're doing, Leon. But you know this. You're the false prophet. You're just pretending that you don't do evil. The Antichrist is supposed to present himself as a man of peace. He just said peace and security in one of his statements regarding Greenland. When they say peace and safety, that's when the end comes. That's when shit hits the fan. Donnie wants to be the man of peace very badly. Vlad's fucking that up for him. So are some other people. But you can't really be the man of peace when you've bombed Yemen and Somalia, Kenya. But you can say you are. So Donnie really wants that credential, and Leon really wants that credential, being a man of peace, but it's kind of too late for Leon because he did this. The chainsaw thing on stage, celebrating people being fired, the Nazi salute, the calling of anyone that complains about their Social Security check not coming, you're calling them a fraudster. If we're deporting all men who have extremist tattoos without hearings, this dude would be in El Salvador by now. Indeed, wouldn't he? This guy. Does he look familiar? He's the guy who likes to give out classified strike packages that are going to happen in a half hour. That's a Big Mike, or not Mike, Big Jeff Goldberg. He said that too. He's like, the strike was going to happen in a half hour. Yes, I would say it was classified. They asked him. I love this guy. I love Jeff Goldberg. I had no idea he was so cool, so blunt, so kind of nerdy, but not like just he has an authority to like he sent me a strike package because they asked Big Jeff Goldberg. They said, "Would you consider this information classified?" So Jeff's like, "All right, I'll answer it like this because I know the law." It's like, Pete sent me a strike package that was going to happen in a half hour. Yes, I consider that classified. Or he said, I would think that the government would want that information classified. Something like that. I don't even know what most of these tattoos represent. There's a We the People one. I can't read that one. Something in Latin. There was another phrase in Latin I looked up earlier. It says something like, let valor not fail or something. That sword one. The sword in the green. There's Latin underneath there. All these different tattoos that he has. Again, I'll tell you right now who Hegseth is. Hegseth thinks he's a crusader and a Christian, and he's taking on the Muslim hordes in the Crusades for Christianity. Part of that effort will be what Pete believes in, is the rebuilding of the Third Temple. There are a lot of people in this world that's a very serious thing to, and they think it's a good thing. But according to the story, the rebuilding of the Third Temple is one of the most horrible things that could happen. It's a total portent or indicator that shit's about to hit the fucking fan for everybody. So yes, if we're deporting people with crazy fucking tattoos, fundamentalist, crazy gang type tattoos, well, why isn't Pete on the damn plane to El Salvador? Can someone answer that question? What is this? Protests at Tesla store lead to legal threats. They're talking about what Leon said online. I don't think Leon's actually sued anyone yet or lied and said it was the Clintons or Soros or whatever, but he will, don't worry. On March 29, 2025, protesters blocked access to Tesla store in Manhattan by lying on the ground, holding signs that called for violent actions against Elon Musk and Tesla property. Elon Musk responded on social media denying any cuts to Medicaid, Social Security, or other entitlements, and emphasized that stopping fraud does not constitute a cut. He further stated that organizing campaigns to call for someone's death is illegal and that those organizing and funding such protests would be prosecuted. Yeah, that's basically what I read you earlier, but no real legal threats have been made. I think even Leon knows the case is pretty weak. It's political speech too. It's like it's much more protected. But I think when people with this kind of money and influence in society keep parroting a talking point. Like, you're going to be prosecuted if you hurt a Tesla. You're going to be prosecuted for taking part in that demonstration. Um, where was I going with that? Uh, I think, oh, that's right. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it a thing, and they have the ability to make it a thing to where cops are, deployed to do something, or brown shirts, or guys in masks, or whatever, and just go grab people. Leon has the power to do that right now. That you're seeing it. You saw the woman get taken off the street. Visa holder, student at a college. In other words, they're letting us know what's about to happen in the future again. Crackdowns on anything anti-Elon or anti-Tesla, but any right goes that way. Slowly over time, more and more dissenters are locked up, executed, whatever, until everyone gets the message, yeah, you better just toe the line. And you better not say nothing around your kids, your wife, your family, your coworkers that the Reich might not like. Because then you might get the, yeah, we heard your son called us up and said that you were in the garage fixing the car. And you yelled out that Leon scum is a cunt. Can you come with us? Here's Leon actually breaking the law live on TV in Wisconsin tonight. So you can see what that looks like. And again, I'm not believing no one getting $1 billion or $1 million until I see a bank statement. It sure looks good though, doesn't it? Handing that big check over. And all the rubes will then sit there and think, well, if I vote this judge, maybe I'll get $1 million. No, you won't. Leon will just walk away. Mission accomplished. They suckers bought it again. They don't even know I'm dismantling and looting their country. They don't even know I'm the false prophet. They don't even know I'm a Satanist. They don't even know I'm a Nazi. You're just giving it all to me. I didn't even have to buy America. All I had to do was buy Donnie shitbags for $230 million. And now he's unofficial president. And he gets to hand out $1 million checks or alleged $1 million checks so you vote the way he wants you to. He gets to break the law with impunity. He even proved it with his first tweet, the one he corrected. And here's the picture of Leon giving out the other check. So one woman got it, I guess, and one man got it. Did I get his... Oh, this is what corruption looks like. Indeed, that's what Midas Touch says. Yes, these two pictures. That's indeed. That's Russia. That's naked, in your face, blatant corruption. I told you your country would turn into that. I begged you not to turn your country into that. In your face. Yes, the current chain of command until Donnie turns on Vlad, I hope at some point, even though that still won't be good for us. That's the current chain. You got Vlad at the top. You got Leon. Next in charge, next in line. You got Leon's son, third in line. Remember, Leon's son was literally in the White House with Leon. And he told Donnie, you're not president. He told Donnie to shut up. And he told Donnie to go get his shine box. Remember that? That's why Leon's son is number 3, third in command. Donnie is 4th in command. That's the chain of command in America now. That's not a joke. I'm dead serious. I want to find Leon's comments from last night quickly, and I'm going to end it with that. They just better be here. I think I talked about him yesterday. I'm just going back through the pictures. Here they are. Okay, when Leon expressed his outright intent to break the law, this is how it looked first before he took it down and put a new post up, because everybody said he would go to prison for this. So Leon had to think quick with some lawyers after he outright admitted he was breaking the law right here, or attempted to break the law. We all saw it. It didn't go away. We got the screenshot. So again, on Sunday night, I will give a talk in Wisconsin. Entrance is limited to those who have voted in the Supreme Court election. I will also personally hand over 2 checks for $1 million, each in appreciation for you taking the time to vote. This is super important. So he basically ran like a raffle where he said, if you vote this way, you'll be invited to this event and you could possibly get $1 million. Do you get how that works? That's a hell of an inducement, isn't it? And I don't give out the money till after you vote. So that gets all the rubes voting one way, hoping they win the $1 million. That's why this is fucking illegal. Because you're voting to win $1 million, not for a candidate. One more time, I will personally hand over 2 checks for $1 million each in appreciation for you taking the time to vote. This is super important. So that's Leon flat out breaking the law right there. Here's Leon's rewording after the lawyers took a look at it, after he thought he might go to prison. On Sunday night, I will give a talk in Wisconsin. To clarify a previous post, entrance is limited to those who have signed the petition in opposition to activist judges. It changed from voting to signing. I will also hand over checks for $1 million to 2 people to be spokesmen for the petition. It went from appreciation for your vote, or taking the time to vote, to now you're a spokesman. Well, both parts of that changed. That's how much of an abject criminal, liar, and fraud Leon Scum is. And he gets a pass. He gets to reword his actual breaking of the law and still give out the checks, and no one does jack shit. Isn't that great? So yeah, I just wanted to read that again since it's relevant. That's my evidence for what I say when I say he broke the law. Okay? That's what I present in court. Those literal 2 posts. And now I'm just going to show you the Donnie Gold statue on the Holy Land. Totally normal, right, guys? All presidents do shit like this. All world leaders. Remember the commercial for Trump Gaza? That's where this is all going. Donnie wants to be Caesar, king of the world, and God. And that's not a joke. So let me ask you, please, for your sake, because I don't get jack shit out of it, turn away from this. You still have a little bit of time. Turn away from this. There's nothing good here. One more time. That's where this is going. Does that look like a good place to you? Does that look like a good place for anybody? Oh, do I have the picture of those 2 fat asses sitting on the pool deck? Maybe we could look at that real quick and then I can go. Trump Gaza, again, never forget these. Very detailed piece of work here. Went on for some time, had a lot of different images and things. Had Donnie little statues they were selling, the street vendors, had the gold Donnie balloon. Damn, I didn't get the picture with Trump and Bibi laying on the pool deck, huh? I thought I did. I guess I didn't download it to the iPad. Nope, it's not here, sorry. Leon eating some food by himself because no one can stand him again. The gold Donnie head balloon. Again, I didn't make this shit. Donnie and his peepo made this shit. The belly dancers. Leon again in another scene. It's so obvious. They're telling you every single thing they're going to do in advance. And then they're doing it. And in closing, they're going to do that too. And they're going to build that third temple. And that's where all this is going. And again, no, that doesn't mean Israel runs the world, son. It means Donnie Shitbags and Leon run the world right now till their reign is over. And it's going to be a lot of ugliness before that reign is over. And when it's over, they go in the lake. That's what the story says. Anyway, until the next episode, and again, always remember who Leon Scum is. He's the chainsaw guy that celebrates mass firings. He calls the people parasites after he fires them. Anyone that complains about these programs being gutted, destroyed, our country being dismantled and looted, well, they're frauds. Mr. Nutlick and Leon both said on different interviews that, it's the people, the biggest frauds are the loudest complainers. Well, Leon and Donnie complain more than anybody I've ever seen. They bitching and whining, crying every day, and they rich as hell. You think they'd be happier? They want to take over the world. Remember, Leon's the Nazi salute guy. Remember, Leon's the guy that sits there in an interview and belittles old ladies that might not get their check. Remember, Mr. Nutlick is that as well. Belittles people who might not get their check as they're dismantling and looting America, and all the top people know exactly where the plan's going. Straight fascism, Nazi Germany style. That's what you're going to see. You've already seen people getting taken off the street. You've seen the concentration camps, the death camp in El Salvador. And that's always the threat, isn't it? By the trolls, by the Russians, by all the impersonators online. Send you to El Salvador as if it's a big joke. Careful making that joke, because your ass might be on the plane one day. Oh yeah, and this is going worldwide. Trump is warning other countries. He wants you to abide by his anti-DEI, anti-woman, anti-gay, all those policies. He wants France and other countries to abide it. It's going global, baby. So's the currency. Donnie's currency. They're going to crash it on purpose, I told you. It's where all this is going, to that horrible, dystopian, nightmare place that you've been reading about, watching movies about. That's where it's going. I'm sorry to tell you. I wish it wasn't. I hope I'm dead fucking wrong about every single thing I say. I really do. Unfortunately, I don't think I am. I really want to think I am too. I want to see something that makes me think I am. I haven't seen one damn thing. It just gets worse and worse every day. Because, class, it's the apocalypse. Fuck you, Mr. Calabrese. Have a good evening.